Welcome to The Problematic Gaze with me, Dr. Lee Arnott.
And me, Dave Moore.
And it's a very special episode for us today, isn't
Hence
it, Dave?
the bubbles.
Hence the bubbles, because, dear listeners, we might be being joined by dear viewers because we are going live on not live. Because we are going onto YouTube, everybody. Yes, this is being filmed. So, as is our wont, we thought this deserved a little bit of a marking of an occasion as we step into the visual medium, isn't it? Right, David?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, say we're going live on YouTube.
Yes.
I mean, who can say the amount of time it's taken us to actually set this setup up? But fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Dipping our toe into the YouTube pond. So welcome, YouTube viewers.
Welcome, viewers. Hello.
And,
Hi.
and hello, gazers.
And hello, gazers. One
on
and all.
the podcast world.
Yes.
Who are listening to us faithfully as they have done for the last year.
Yes, indeed. And if you don't know who we are, then we are The Problematic Gaze, and each episode... Oh, hello.
Often interrupted by some bubbles.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yes, we're The Problematic Gaze, and each episode we take a piece of pop culture from the last 60 odd years and examine it through the problematic lens, asking ourselves the question, could you get away with it today? And if not, why not? And what that says about society and culture then and now. And that looks nice.
Yeah, I'll try and speak and pour at the same time.
Multitasking, it always goes well.
Yeah, because before we take a deep dive into our chosen topic, we'll look at the news events of the day, and we'll look at the TV and film landscape, and we'll also look at the pop charts just to put our chosen topic and the year into focus.
Yes, very good,
Yes.
very good. And with that, cheers, darling.
Cheers.
Oh, that was a clunk, wasn't it?
Come on,
Hang
let's do it.
Do it properly.
For our new YouTubers.
Lovely.
There we go.
Cheers.
So we are doing this as live. We haven't exactly got huge amounts of audience members watching us, but apart from our YouTubers
Yeah.
at home, and so yeah, don't fuck it up basically.
All right.
Because I'm not cutting into this.
Yeah. See what I have to put up with. Anyway, what are we looking at today, Dave?
Well, we've got the champagne coupes out
Yeah.
in special memory of Sex and the City. Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte, and Samantha. We
Yes.
salute you.
We salute you.
We're going to look at an episode from the year 2000, Series 1, Episode 3, entitled Where There's Smoke.
I thought it was Series 3, Episode 1.
What did I say?
Series 1, Episode 3.
Okay.
It's only had one bloody glass, one sip of that bubbles.
What he said.
Yes, this is Series 3, Episode 1, called Where There's Smoke. What's your relationship with Sex and the City, Dave?
I watched it at the time. Mm-hmm. And whenever it's on, I'll watch it again. Hugely problematic in areas, but do you know what? I don't care. I love it. I love it. I've followed these women. I mean, let's not talk about the debacle, which is And Just Like That, which is the modern series.
I will ask you about that
which
afterwards.
I do watch under duress, but we'll discuss that a bit later. But late 90s, early 2000s, I was there for the girls, giving it some jip, watching them navigate their way through the emotional and physical quagmire of turn of the millennium New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you?
I loved it at the time. I lived with a girl who was a features writer for a fashion magazine. So I almost felt like I was in Sex and the City by proxy. And we lived in a really nice flat, which I thought was like a New York loft apartment in Archway. So not that
Doesn't
much.
quite have the same ring to it, does it?
Yeah. Right by a bus stop. It was a nightmare. Anyway, loved it. Absolutely loved it at the time. Thought it was great. Was a bit resistant to it at first for whatever reason, but ended up loving it.
Yeah.
Although, remember feeling deeply betrayed by the way it ended.
Right.
Yeah. Which we can get into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, there's the 6 seasons, then there's the film.
Yes.
The two films.
I never saw any of the films.
Didn't you?
No.
Probably for the best. The second one, at least.
I mean, there was just a sound of a dead horse being mercilessly whipped by that point.
And by that point, darling, you were already living the life. You didn't need to watch it.
That's exactly it. Exactly right. My friend, her sister had said to her once, she was young, bless her, and she said, "Your problem is," to her older sister, my pals. She went, "They were having an argument." And she went, "Your problem is you think you're living Sex in the City, but but I'm actually living the dream like this." And she was just like, "Oh, fuck off," you know. Like 3 years between them or something. So anyway, that's our relationship to this particular show. With all that being said, should we cross over to the news desk now? This is a bit weird, isn't it? Because usually on our podcast, our listeners can't see the fact that we don't move at all. Spoiler alert, everybody. We don't actually get up and cross over to a
Should we
news
just do it
desk.
anyway?
Should we just pretend?
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
pretend.
Crossing over to the news desk.
Crossing over to the news desk. I can't.
Come here, out of shot.
Right. Good.
So here we are at the news
Here
desk.
we are at the news
Okay.
desk.
Trevor McDonald specs on.
Get the Trevors on. Get the Trevors on. So this is events, some of the UK events of the year 2000. Now, we already covered some of these events, not these ones, but we already covered the year 2000 in our episode on the royal family, which is about 3 months ago. But here are some more which were taxing the UK at the time. On the 12th of January, it's announced that the former Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet is to be deported after Home Secretary Jack Straw accepts unequivocal and unanimous medical evidence that he's unfit to stand trial in Spain on charges of torture. On the 2nd of February, he's going to be deported to his native Chile, where he'll face trial for human rights violations. This was a bit of a brouhaha at the time, do you remember?
Roughly. Wasn't he good mates with Margaret Thatcher?
He was good mates with Margaret Thatcher, and he was a bit of a bad egg, let's just say. He's your classic South American dictator, military coup, I think, in the early 70s, then institutes a reign of terror, his anybody left, communist, socialist, thousands of people killed, tens of thousands of people tortured under his regime. Tens of thousands of people sent to concentration camps. People disappeared from the streets of Chile. Thatcher was a fan. Is on record as saying that she thought that the way he dealt with communism should be applauded. One of the first acts the Tory government does is to lift a ban on arms sales to Chile, which the Labour government had brought in, you know, and she overturns it in 1980. And he's come to the UK because he's not very well. He's come for medical treatment. And while here, he's arrested by Spanish authorities. Thatcher visits him, I think, sends him a bottle of malt whiskey. You know, and it becomes a bit of like a hot potato at the time, but eventually he's deported back to Chile. But yeah, not a very nice
Not a very nice
man.
person, but also the whole Chilean thing and him coming to power was... It was one of those satellite proxy wars, wasn't it? It was all kind of engineered as part of the bigger Cold War framework,
Well,
wasn't
all
it?
funded by America,
who favoured it happening in that particular part of South America. It was their advantage. So
All roads lead back to the US and Russia and the Cold War at this point.
dirty hands in pies, love.
Absolutely. Okay, in local news, on the 28th of January, the Liberal Democrat MP for Cheltenham, Nigel Jones, is attacked at his constituency surgery by a mentally disturbed man with a samurai sword. Andrew Pennington, a councillor, comes to Jones' defence but is stabbed 9 times and later dies aged 39.
Gosh, that's terrible, isn't it? I mean,
Well, MP's in danger. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just this, you know, it's getting worse, isn't it?
well, we're still blessed in this country in that we have had relatively few, you know, deaths of MPs at the hand of constituents. Only 2, and obviously this attack didn't succeed in killing the MP, but unfortunately killed the councillor. But yeah, it's a horrible, horrible thing. And in democracy, you're supposed to be able to exert your right, and if you're voted and if it's your MP, then I mean, unfortunately, this is a mentally disturbed man as well. But the ones we've seen more recently have tended to be based on ideological reasons, haven't they? The assassinations. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's one in America. I mean, these 2 news events do seem to me to be kind of slightly history repeating itself. The rise of a dictator could be mirrored to what's happening in the US at the moment, and also just in the US. Some Democrat was killed, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, by another ideologically crazy bloke who thinks he's doing the right thing. Oh, dear. More grim news on the 25th of February. The murder of 8-year-old Victoria Climbié in London after torture and neglect by her guardians, who her aunt and her aunt's partner. Local authority social services departments will be severely criticised for their shortcomings in the case. Do you remember the picture of that beautiful girl? Oh,
So
it was
sad.
heartbreaking.
So sad. It's just people slipping through the net.
Yeah,
You know, young
gosh.
kiddies.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, anyway, to our new YouTube listeners, we're not all doom and gloom on this
Yeah.
podcast.
God, yeah, like bloody hell.
What have I stumbled across? Basically, murder,
Yeah. You know,
dictatorship.
do you know that Sex and the City is big on Instagram these days with all these young women? So they're gonna click on this and go, "What the fuck is this? Can we talk about Carrie and the girls?"
We're just setting the
Sorry.
scene for what was going on in the year 2000,
Yeah.
which was when our episode of Sex and the
Yeah.
City was.
So we've got the hard-hitting news stories, such as
On the 1st of March, all stores of furniture retailer World of Leather close. Ooh, that's your weekend. Sadly diminished,
I
isn't
was
it?
devastated, David. It's something I've not got over. Let me tell you, their wipe down collection was second to none.
Into the pleather now.
Pleather look, yeah, absolutely. Pleather's mentioned in this episode. Did you hear it?
I was too busy looking at Fireman, to be honest.
It was actually that scene, so I'll come back to that. On the 1st of April, an Enigma machine is stolen from Bletchley Park Museum. Now, I thought the Enigma machine was that massive thing that covered the whole wall, but no.
No, it's
It was like a
portable,
typewriter.
could be used on submarines and all that kind of shit. But and there's one still there, I think, and then there's one in the Imperial War Museum as well.
Is
I mean,
there?
this is right up my strata. I
Yeah,
love
it
World
is.
War II history and Cold War history. Have you ever been to Bletchley Park?
No,
It's great.
I know.
It's just
I'd
up the
love
road
to
from
go.
PG Manor.
Is it really?
Yeah.
We need a school trip.
Absolutely.
A school trip and do some pictures for our socials.
Absolutely. I mean, you can just, when you're there, you can just picture the kind of scene in World War II, you know, all the ladies and gents who worked there, and
Yeah.
you can see all the rooms where they intercepted all the German communications, right down to kind of like the car garage where they would come in and out of and stuff. I mean,
Right.
it sounds a little bit dull, but it isn't. It's really...
Yeah, take me to Bletchley Park to look
Click
at
the link below
Yeah,
to
yeah.
visit Bletchley Park.
the garage of Bletchley Park. Right, crashing on.
Must try harder. Go on. Just back to some doom and gloom,
Go
please.
on.
That was too light. On the 19th of April, Tony Martin is sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder of a 16-year-old burglar, Fred Barras, who he shot dead at his Norfolk farmhouse 8 months ago.
This was another bit of a cause celeb, wasn't it? There was a lot of talk about how you can't not defend yourself in your own home, wasn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it put the questions in everyone's minds who was watching the news.
Yeah.
What side were you on?
Yes.
And what would you do? How far would you go to
Yeah.
defend your home? You know, it's a bloody burglar running around downstairs. He could
Yeah.
have a machete, could have anything.
Yeah.
This guy's got up and shot him.
Yeah, he was 16, bless him. And
I know.
I've got a friend who used to teach pottery in prisons. And
Pardon?
actually, that's quite difficult to say, who taught pottery in prisons. Wow, that's really hard to
Yeah.
say. And she taught Tony Martin. And she said he was a right miserable, horrible bastard. She said he was so unpleasant. It was just, she dreaded going in to teach him. No remorse at all.
Well, I mean, he probably thought he'd not done anything wrong, you know, but he had shot someone dead.
Yeah, I shot someone dead.
Yeah.
On the 12th of May, Ford announces that production of cars at the Dagenham plant will end when the Fiesta launches a new generation in 2002. Now, the Dagenham plants, that's iconic, isn't it? That's been since the 60s, 50s or 60s, since the plant's Dagenham's been there.
Fact-checking department.
Fact-checking department. Note to fact-checking department, please. And, of course, that's where the famous strike is by the female workers in the 60s, you know. So it's a real... This is the end of an era that this is going to close. And the last car they produced is the Fiesta. I mean, the little I know of cars, I do know that the Fiesta is a little bit shit, isn't it?
I had a Fiesta.
But okay, it's a
You see what I have to put up with?
it's a doable workaround, but it's not, you know, it's just like it's just a
that brings the first episode of our YouTube series to a close, dear listeners.
Do you want to do the next one? I'll just do...
Yes, that's all right. Thank you. Well,
You don't even care as long as it's got wheels and goes. You only care.
as
you
long
care
as it's
about
got
its
wheels
colour.
and goes,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
That's all I need from a car.
Exactly.
My husband, on the other hand, is a classic car collector.
Yeah, I know.
So he's a real petrol head and he knows every single thing about cars. And when he's talking about a car, I say, well, is that the blue one or the red one?
Yeah, I'm the same.
Anyway, moving swiftly
We,
on.
we fail at being men.
Yes.
We do.
Which one have you just done?
I've just done about cars. You're doing Barbara Cartland now, honestly.
Oh, yes. Okay. On the 21st of May, best-selling author Dame Barbara Cartland dies aged 98 at her home. Dies aged 98 at her... Oh, my God, I can't speak. Hang on.
Get
Hang
over
on.
the
Need to
set.
lubricate myself.
She dies at her home, basically. That's quite tricky to say, though.
What he said. Near Hatfield, Hertfordshire. Again, very
Just up
close
the
to PG
road,
Manor.
yeah.
Now, hopefully I'm not triangulating our exact location.
There'll be some stalkers out there before long,
will.
before you know it, I tell
Well,
you.
That's YouTube for you anyway. And then, on the same day,
God.
Sir John Gielgud dies, aged 94. Dear, dear Johnny. Remember that from Spitting Image?
Yeah.
At his home at Wootton Underwood. It's quite a cool name, isn't it? Wootton Underwood. In Buckinghamshire. So, yes, two giants.
Two titans, yeah. Gosh. Of course, John Gielgud was the reason why Sylvia Sims agreed to do the part in Victim, which is one of our early episodes, the 1960 film about homosexuality, because of the dreadful experience John Gielgud had had at the hands of the police in the late 50s when he'd been arrested in a cottage and just so horribly treated, and she was a good friend of his, and that's why she took that role on, because she was so affected by what he told her about what had happened to him at the hands of the coppers for being gay.
Dear.
Speaking of all things gay, did we ever let it go? Can you not just let it go, please? God, it's so gay.
You might have noticed.
Yeah.
5 minutes in.
Yeah. Yeah. The 21st of June, it's the repeal in Scotland of the controversial Section 28 of the Local Government Act 1988, which had prevented local authorities from, quote, promoting homosexuality, which basically means talking or addressing anything to do with LGBTQ plus stuff when we were at school. Not allowed to do it at all. If you're getting bullied at school in front of a teacher, they're not allowed to say anything. I mean, what a bunch of fucking bastards. It will be repealed in the rest of the UK in 2003.
I mean, it surprises me that it took so long to repeal it
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got Tony Blair's government comes in 1997, and it's still going to take him 5 years to repeal it as well. So it's like, good God, you know.
Well, there you go. So, staying on an LGBT theme, but in a really sad way. Again, we've gone down a little bit. So, on the 30th of June, David Copeland is found guilty of causing 3 nail bomb attacks in London from last year. He's sentenced to life imprisonment, and the trial judge recommends that he should serve at least 30 years before being considered for parole, meaning that he's likely to remain in prison and until at least 2029 and at the age of 54. So this was the guy who set nail bombs off in Brick Lane, Brixton, and on Old Compton Street.
Yes,
in Soho.
Yeah, aiming at the black people, brown people, and gay people, basically. So, yeah, I wonder if he's still in prison.
Yeah.
Fact check department.
Fact checked. Let's give him a call.
Give him a call. Not with the phones though, because we're filming. On the 16th of October, the BBC's main evening news programme moves to 10 p.m. from its very traditional 9 o'clock from its very traditional 9 o'clock slot. Early the following year, ITV will move its news programme back to its same time slot and broadcast in direct competition. I can't quite get my head around the fact that the BBC stopped at Windy Pops have started.
I can't wind you from here.
Yeah, called the Windy Pops. I'm so sorry, everybody. That the BBC stopped television at 9 o'clock to show the news. It just seems unfathomable these days, doesn't it? Because it's on at 10. 10 just seems... And ITV's news is always news at 10.
Yeah.
Bong. But BBC's was Trevor McDonald. So yeah, I remember this was felt quite a big thing actually. But BBC realising, 9 o'clock audiences want to watch news. They want to watch
Dempsey and Makepeace. Really tell our era, can't you?
Yes. This 2000, for God's sake.
It's only because we watched an episode of Dempsey and Makepeace,
Yes,
didn't we?
the last time I was here.
Yeah, and
I was so disappointed with
I
it.
know, we didn't really pick a good one, did we?
We should have picked the one with Susie Quattro. I told you.
Well, you kept telling me, but then I was just like, no, I want to watch this one. And yeah, it didn't go down very well.
No, it didn't. Cup of cold sick. Your turn.
Okay, let me focus. Okay, on the 30th of October, Sven Goran Eriksson, of 52. He was only 52 at the time. He looked a
That's
lot
my age.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but I look a lot better than Sven Goran Eriksson, don't I?
Sorry, it's the bubbles. Okay, so on the 30th of
Sorry. It's also really weird because usually we're sitting next to each other.
I know.
And now we're sitting facing each other.
I know, it's quite
And
unnerving.
I quite like it, actually. It means I can give you dirty looks when you're saying something stupid.
Which is most of the time. Can I finish my Sven Goran Eriksson point,
You may.
please?
You may.
On the 30th of October, Sven Goran Eriksson, the 52-year-old Swedish coach of Italian side Lazio, accepts an offer from the Football Association to take charge. Oh God, this is going down really
Go
well.
on, have another sip, love.
I will. To take charge of the England football team for 5 years, commencing next July. Commencing next July. Eriksson will be the first foreign manager.
Clutch your
Clutch your
pearls.
pearls, everyone.
Oh my God.
Oh no, they're letting the foreigners in now to the football. To take charge of the England national team.
Did you get a little thrill to yourself when you said Lazio because you were just
Yeah.
said you were talking about football?
That's what they do,
I
isn't it? They
know.
go, Lazio.
Well, there we go. To some events of 2000.
Yes. We're not anti-foreigner, are we? We just take the piss out of anti-foreigners.
Oh, God,
just
yeah.
for our YouTube
Yeah,
listeners.
hopefully that's clear.
Yeah.
And just where were you in 2000, by the way? Where were you? What were you doing? I was in Archway, obviously.
You're in
my
Archway.
New York
I was
apartment.
up north. I was still the little gay boy who hadn't quite made it into the
Right.
big city. Hence why Sex and the City was such a little escape for me. It's like,
Right.
one day
One day.
I shall be like Charlotte from Sex and the City.
Clearly, we're going to ask at the end, which one would you be? I think we know who I'll be.
I wouldn't
I was
like
actually
Charlotte.
I was actually working in fashion as well at this point. So along with my
Top man.
flatmate, cheeky bastard. Not far though, but as a women's wear. And so living with my flatmate, who was features writer for a fashion magazine, it felt very, very Sex and the City. Good.
Good.
Right then.
Okay, I'll
That
take
was
your
all
word
the
for
news.
it.
Is this a stop?
Do we different restaurant every evening? Were you? Different cocktail bar, like they are.
What I did was I'd have a different kebab from the kebab shop. Just to kind of
Different flavour.
make me feel special.
No garlic sauce tonight.
Do you know what? I'm going to try some like aioli, Marco.
Very,
It's what?
very Sex
Garlic
and
and
the City.
mayonnaise. It sounds disgusting, but try it. It's Tuesday.
Okay, on that note.
On that note.
Let's take a break.
Now, we already have looked at TV in our episode on the royal family.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd have a look at what was going on BBC Two and BBC and Channel 4, the minority channels in 2000. Because there's quite a lot of good stuff. Naked Chef is high in BBC Two's charts. Obviously, Jamie Oliver is becoming a real thing at this point. Did you ever fancy Jamie Oliver?
No.
No, I didn't either.
No, it kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, he did. But what's interesting is kind of Mockney accent. You know, at this point, it's when you're starting to get celebrities who are normal, who are not, who are. The story in the late 90s and early noughties, think of Big Brother, is that people like us becoming famous.
yeah.
The exemplar of which is David Beckham, but certainly Jamie Oliver, who was again not posh. I don't know how posh he secretly is, but that was a stick, wasn't it, for him?
TV made for the masses rather than the middle classes.
Yes, exactly, with appropriate presenters. Ben Fogler at this point couldn't get work because he was too posh, apparently. So
Really?
the media was really changing towards working class accents, which always historically used to be like a big no to getting any work in television at all.
Yeah.
Should I carry on with BBC Two?
Yes.
There's I'm also quite struck that Buffy the Vampire Slayer was getting over 3.5 million viewers, and that's how I loved Buffy. I was a huge Buffy fan. So, but this is on TV10. Coupling is riding Stephen Moffat's sitcom about relationships is a big hit on BBC Two. There is The Simpsons, Star Trek Voyager, quite a lot of Star Trek spin-offs actually. Deep Space Nine, Ready Steady Cook is a big thing.
That was a staple of our student days, wasn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, because
Oh
that
my
basically was
God.
our life.
Yeah, it was. You'd have some a pepper,
Yeah.
an old manky bit of something in the fridge, and maybe a bottle of tomato ketchup. What can you make with it, Ainsley? I made a Black Forest Gatto.
It really was. That was when kind of food was a bit simpler, wasn't it? So I've got quite sophisticated now.
It was becoming sophisticated at this point, actually. We're getting more. If you think the first kind of gastropub opens in about 97, so our palates as a country are noticeably improving at this point. They've definitely improved from when I think it was Jacques Chirac, the French president in the 1970s, says, "Oh my God, Britons have the worst diet, the worst food," which
Really?
was not entirely inaccurate, unfortunately. I told you about my great grandmother who literally boiled every single vegetable to death.
Oh my God.
To death.
What is it about
don't
grandmas and
know.
they do that, don't they? Because they start cooking at about 9 in the morning. So
Yeah.
by the time you get up for lunch at 12, 1
Yeah.
o'clock,
Yeah.
it's like mush.
Mush, tasteless
Yeah.
mush.
But mind you, my grandma was a really good cook.
Mine wasn't
God bless
at
your
all.
grandma.
Mine was
yeah, you
not.
could smell if you went out for Sunday lunch. You'd been out to kick the shit out of Saturday night.
Yes.
You were absolutely starving. You could smell her gravy.
Wow.
That sounds really wrong.
Smelling that as gravy.
You could smell my grand's gravy all the way down the street.
Like a Bisto kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky you, that's all
that
I
took a
can
turn.
say. What was on Channel 4? What were some highlights on 4?
Well, obviously it's dominated by Brookside. That was
Yes.
quite high at the time. And Hollyoaks had kind of just started. So
Right,
that was there.
yeah.
But there were other things. Frasier was riding high. Did you ever watch Frasier? Were you ever a fan?
No.
That was a little bit too cerebral for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a little bit too sure of himself, wasn't he?
Well, with good reason, he's a very high successful psychiatrist, isn't he? So,
Yeah, Friends, obviously, riding high as well. We've done an episode on Friends, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
YouTubers, if
Yes,
you
we
ever want
have.
to look back. at
If you ever
those.
want to go away from the visual medium into the world of sound.
Yes, it's all on YouTube as well. Anyway, but our gazers will have listened to that already.
Obviously.
Yes, we shouldn't forget our faithful gazers. Hi, Jeannie Nunu. Hi, Ruthie.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle wants to be known as our superfan extraordinaire, so I said we would call her that. So, Michelle,
yes.
I know you're going to be listening to this right now and squealing with excitement. Superfan extraordinaire, darling.
Michelle, I hope you got the bubbles.
Yeah. Chin chin.
Chin chin. Chin chin. Okay, ER. That's not a northern phrase.
ER.
ER. Well, it is actually ER, which means
ER.
here,
Here
have
you are.
it.
Here you are.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about ER, emergency room
Never
from
watched
the US.
it. Never watched it.
Dishy Dr. Doug Ross.
Was that
That's just
George
come from
Clooney?
the corner of my brain. Yeah, George Clooney.
Right. And who
Yeah.
was the one from Top Gun in it? He was in it as well, wasn't he?
Anthony
Nelson
Edwards. That's probably wrong.
Anyway, fact check.
fact check.
Fact check department.
I'm sure our YouTubers will tell us. Okay, so countdown.
Obviously.
Yeah, did I tell you my countdown story?
Yes. You told our listeners as well and our viewers. If you want to hear that, go back to our episode on whatever.
It involved Richard Whiteley, a certain amount of cannabis.
Richard Whiteley was not imbibing the cannabis, by the way, just to clarify.
Yeah, and Sonny and Cher.
And your aunt's...
My aunt.
Was it a
yes.
tie or a card or something your aunt had made?
Yeah, but well, you said that I've already said it, so I'm not going to say it again.
Either way, the upshot is a stoned David disgraced himself in front of Richard Whiteley at a viewing, at a recording of Countdown that he was an audience member of.
Don't do that kind of thing anymore. Just in case my employers are watching. I don't.
No, I know you don't. No, I know you don't. Backpedaling P45 on the way. Taxi for David. And interesting, the bottom of that chart, Ally McBeal is 30 most popular. And just thinking about the landscape of representations of women in TV at the time, obviously we have Sex and the City, and I suppose you could argue that its natural bedfellow would be Ally McBeal, which is another, but we will compare and contrast, I'm sure, along with Bridget Jones, who we've also discussed.
Yeah.
But she's in this milieu of women at the year 2000. So,
Did you see in the Daily Mail sidebar of shame?
I haven't looked at Daily Mail for 3 years, and it has been the most blessed thing in my entire life.
It was basically, guess what Ally McBeal, Callista Flockhart looks like now.
Oh, let me guess. She's aged 25 years because it's been 25 years. So, like, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Basically, Ally McBeal's got
But
older.
always on a negative slant, like,
Clearly.
look what she looks like now.
Just let herself go, wasn't she? She used to be so beautiful. Is that what they whisper to you when you leave the pub, Tony?
I am still beautiful.
I am beautiful, am I not? Anyway, that was some of the TV on the minority channels. We were going to look at Channel 5, but none of it. Don't remember anything. Should we cut over to the pop charts to see what the top 20 was on the week this episode was broadcast? So this is the official singles chart on the 4th of June 2000. Confidence levels in knowledge of this, David?
Yeah, I think I still had an eye on the charts at this point.
I think I did, for sure.
Yeah.
But my tastes were very much more clubby, were dancey. That was going to float my boat, because this was the peak of my fashion / drug years. So
This was your Sex and the City years, wasn't
Was,
it? When
yeah.
you were in a different nightclub
Yeah.
every night,
Wow.
different restaurant,
Well.
different man every night.
well, yes.
Just cut to the third one. That's... Okay, without further ado, let's go to the singles charts. Okay,
Right.
Number 20, Heart of Asia by Watergate.
Never heard of it.
You've probably been pilled up in a club to that at some point.
Have I? Oh, but maybe I don't know. Number 19, Thong Song by Cisco. Of course, I remember that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Flying here. Trying to get in on the action.
Yeah.
Hope you can't hear it, dear viewers / listeners. Yeah. Okay, right, this has taken me aback, actually. Number 18, Taken for Granted by Sia. Now, Sia...
It's still around, isn't she?
She's still around, yeah. I mean, but I thought she was a lot more recent than that. But obviously she was knocking around in the year 2000.
Is she the one who represented us at Eurovision one year?
Sia, didn't she sing Titanium and all that shit?
Fact check.
God, fact check.
Really old. Put that vape down. We're on camera. We're on camera. He's going to get the vape out. Honestly. Number 17, We're Really Saying Something.
Bananarama?
No, unfortunately not. Buffalo G.
Buffalo G. Okay, number 16, Master Blaster 2000, DJ Luck and MC Neat. So now I've heard of them too.
The Master Blaster was my Grindr profile name for God.
I was too slow that I was trying to think of something to say.
As was The Bad Touch at number 15 by Bloodhound Gang. This is a bit rubbish, isn't it?
Well, saying that, we'll probably be bopping to a few of these. Number 14, Sex Bomb, Tom Jones and Moose T.
I was definitely bopping to that. Black Cap on a Tuesday night.
I could just imagine you on the dance floor just
Yeah.
eyeing up some little prey there going, sex bomb.
Yeah, all of that, you know. But it was Tuesday night, so they invariably had no teeth and probably a tracksuit. So, you know, you got what you could get.
Exactly.
Number 13, You're My Angel by Mikey Graham. Of course, he's from Westlife. Boyzone. They're just
bad, aren't
interchangeable. They are
Did you see the
interchangeable.
Boyzone
I finally
documentary?
watched it. New listeners / viewers, David has been hassling me about this documentary for nearly a year. I finally watched it. It was good. What a bloody nightmare they had, though, wasn't it? It just got treated like shit. But was it ever thus with the story of pop stars? You
It was
know?
right back back then in the 60s with the little boy bands.
Absolutely.
You know? But this Mikey Graham, he was the one who was a little bit removed from everybody
Yes,
else.
had
who'd
talent.
Had talents, kind of not sectioned himself. Sorry, Mikey. Hadn't sectioned himself. He'd removed himself from the spotlight.
Yeah. This song is actually part of his therapy he had when he was sectioned. Was that? Anyway, carry on. Number 12, Hands Up, Trevor and Simon.
I only know Swingy Pants.
I wonder if that's Hands Up, Give Me Your Heart, Gimme, Gimme Your Heart, Gimme, Gimme, as in that hands up. Anyway,
Okay.
We'll never know.
Or Hands Up from your Tuesday nights at the Black Cap.
Is that what they sang? Oh,
Sorry, that was Fists Up. Sorry.
that wasn't Tuesday night, that was Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. Okay, number 11. Oh, someone very current. Someone very
Yes.
close to your heart
Yes.
as well. Day and Night by Billie Piper.
New Doctor Who.
Is she though?
Or is she?
Is
Don't
she?
know.
What's your theory?
I don't think she is. I don't think she is at all. But Billie Piper, in her former career as a pop star, never really wanted to do it.
She's done it all.
Done it all.
Done it all.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Number 10. This is a corker. Don't Call Me Baby, Madison Avenue.
I love the fact that whenever that comes on the radio, I can sing all the lyrics to
Me
that
too.
song.
Me too. And I was dating a. I don't want to sound like a twat, but I was dating a Macedonian model at this point, and he was really arrogant and the kind of guy. If you went for a meal, he would ensure that he was sitting facing the mirror so he could spend the whole meal just look at himself past your shoulder in the mirror. And anyway, we were in a club and this song came on. And he's wrapping his arms around me. I was just like, don't call me, baby. His face. I had enough of it. This song broke me. I was like... yeah, the straw, the camel, everything splattered on the floor at that point.
Dear. Okay, moving swiftly on. Number 9. Oops, I Did It Again, Britney Spears.
Great song again.
Great song again. I love a bit of old Britney,
Yeah.
but I have to say, hands up, I am guilty.
Like Trevor and Simon, hands up.
Yeah, fists up.
Fists up.
And I feel really bad about this, but when she went through her mental breakdown and she smashed car windows with umbrellas and shaved her head and everything, I was thinking about this recently. The tabloids just absolutely went for it.
Oh,
didn't they,
God,
with
yeah,
Britney
totally,
Spears?
totally.
You know, this poor young girl having
Yeah.
this mental breakdown for whatever reason. No one wants to see that in anybody. But I was fascinated. I was glued to it.
Everyone was.
You know,
Me too.
I'd like to think now I've changed and I would just be like, just leave the poor girl alone.
Yes.
But at the time, that was the mentality, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, tastes change, fashions change. You know, everything changes like that. But I think attitudes towards mental health has shifted hugely in the past 25 years. And if that was happening now, I'd like to think that people would turn away from it.
I don't think they would.
But,
do that.
I mean,
I don't think they would.
probably not.